Very solid.
Yeah. So you put that with the fact that Michigan's going to put points on that board.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to sit back and take it easy. They're gonna try their best to throttle Georgia early, jump on their throat, and keep their foot on it.
All right.
Georgia's thing is defense, stop you and try to score
Mm-hmm.
every
Mm-hmm.
once in a while, right? Because they're not consistently offensively getting points on the board.
True.
I think Michigan's going to exploit that today and beat them.
All right. Give me a magic number. What's the magic number for Michigan to take out Georgia?
If Michigan gets over 30 points, this game is theirs, hands down.
All right, Cole. Give me a magic number for Michigan.
For
Ah,
Michigan,
for Michigan. All right, they have. I think they have to get at least 30.
30.
yeah,
I
I
agree.
agree.
Yeah.
I agree. 30 will win the game for Michigan, and conversely, it'll take 40 to win the game for Georgia. They have to get into. This is how I see Georgia. They have to get into an up and down kind of game. But you're right. Michigan's defense has come on strong lately. And what's the old song Cole says to me all the time? What have you done for me lately? What has Michigan done?
Hmm.
They beat the crap out of Ohio State and they beat the piss out of Iowa. And each time, they put up at least 30 points. Matter of fact, they put, I believe, 42 points in each game. 42 against Ohio State and 42 against Iowa. So it will take at least 30 for Michigan to win the game, and it will it will take it'll take 40 for Georgia to do the deed. Now, to the matinee, which I believe is the feature match, Cincinnati and Alabama. Let the OG break this down really quick. Cincinnati's not supposed to be there.
Nope.
Committee didn't have a choice but to put them there.
Yep.
Alabama is Alabama. Alabama is Alabama. No one is giving Cincinnati a chance in hell to win this game today, which has I believe it's a 4:30 kickoff, but Cole, acting as my researcher, looked that up for me really quick. I think it's a 4:30 kickoff for the Cotton Bowl,
College football playoff.
because Michigan and
Cotton Bowl.
Georgia, Michigan and Georgia have the feature game.
All right. Let me see. Cotton Bowl actually kicks off at 3:30
Oh, it's a
Eastern today.
3:30 kickoff.
Yes,
So
correct.
it is a matinee. It's an actual
Hmm.
matinee. So for those of
Yeah.
you who don't know, with all the stuff I got in front of me for the show, I handle the production. Cole handles the research. All right. No one is giving Cincinnati, I beg your pardon, a chance in hell to win this game. I will let our guest speak first. Mr. McCain, what you got for me?
If you're not giving Cincinnati at least a chance to win this game, what have you been watching all season?
Hmm. Facts.
Fact.
Because it's definitely not Cincinnati,
Fact.
and it's definitely not at Alabama. And then don't forget, Alabama doesn't have Michi. He's out.
Mm-hmm.
So you're missing one of your top two receivers.
Yep.
So we always talk about Alabama and all this speed and how they got these great receivers and they always keep two or three greats.
Yes.
Well, this year they're missing one. This hasn't been something that's happened to them
Big
in
one.
the past.
Big one.
You know, their quarterback, while he's good, he's a young guy. He's prone to make some of those mistakes that young guys make. So I'm not going to go as far as to say Cincinnati's going to win, but I will say I wouldn't be surprised if they pull out a tight one.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're believing that Alabama has this already won, you're already putting them in the semifinal. I mean, the final. I will let you know this: you haven't been watching college football all year, and you're going on name recognition alone.
Preach. Preach. That's all I got to say. Preach.
Hmm.
Because going on name recognition alone, and if you haven't watched Alabama with that loss to Texas A&M, and even though they beat up Georgia in the SEC championship game, they're minus one of their big weapons. As I've said a few times before already, no one is giving Cincy a chance to win. And I am calling for the upset. And the magic number for Cincinnati will be 31.
You took the number out of my mind.
Mm.
The magic number for Cincy today will be 31. It's going to be a close one. Alabama's got a hell of an offense. Their defense has gotten stronger. But my prediction is Cincy 31, Bama 27.
That's a good one.
That's my magic. That's my magic number. Cole, talk to me.
I'm with everything that you all said. You're going to have a lot of people who are going to look at Cincinnati today and wonder, why haven't we seen this team all year long?
Right.
They're going to have that concern and that worry because a lot of people will insult them and saying, well, heck, they're a non-Power 5 conference team, which
Yep.
they will be a Power 5 conference team next year, but that's another subject for another day. But they look at this team and they say, well, yeah, this is the team that the committee did not really want to be in the top four. They wanted Oklahoma State, they wanted Notre Dame, but this undefeated team is in the Final Four. Well, they must have played nobodies. Of course, they
Right.
forget. Of course, they forget one of their wins came against Notre Dame, which they are in the top 6,
Mm-hmm.
and played them
They're in the
in
New
South
Year's
Bend.
6,
And
okay?
yes,
Notre
yeah,
Dame's in the
they're
New Year's
yeah,
6, and
yeah,
everybody's disqualifying Cincinnati's
yes,
win in
yes,
South Bend.
yeah. They're in the New Year's
Mm-hmm.
Six bowl, and and since he happened to beat them in South Bend by 2 scores, but
By two,
those are just a
yep.
mere bag of
Say that
shells,
again.
right?
Say that
Yeah,
again.
they
By two
they went.
scores.
Yes, they went to South Bend, Indiana, and beat Notre Dame by 2 scores.
Mm-hmm.
But that's a mere bag of shells to the rest of the big time college football fan because they think, well, Alabama's the king and this pauper here is not going to touch him. Wrong. The one thing that seems to mess Alabama up is a team that's physical with them. I am not a fan of what Alabama has been this year. I really do not believe that they are the juggernaut that they were even last year.
Right.
Preach.
And last year preach, man, because last year they were a juggernaut, just like
Hmm.
LSU was a juggernaut in 2019. If any team of the 4 can be had today, it'll be Alabama.
And the reason why I believe that is they're all in it was already mentioned the offense is of course a bit shaky considering that they have a young man leading it.
Mm-hmm.
That defense is not that defense is not as stout. They don't strike fear in me. They don't make me say, well, whew, it's going to be tough sledding for Cincinnati to go down the field and score on them. I don't feel that energy.
And you know what
But
part of Alabama's defense can really be had today, where Cincinnati excels on the ground.
about to say that front four, yeah, yeah, because really that's what set up Texas A&M beating them.
Mm-hmm.
That's what kept Auburn in the Iron Bowl game.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's what kept LSU in the game because they almost
they almost
they
pulled the
almost pulled
upset.
a they almost pulled an upset in Tuscaloosa.
Mm-hmm.
So
There's a blueprint.
yeah,
Yep, there
there's a
is.
blueprint to beat this team. I just threw 3 teams out there, and Cincinnati is tailor made for it because that's exactly the type of game they play on offense.
And
So
and all 3 teams that you mentioned, SEC opponents.
yeah, yeah,
So if you have 3 SEC opponents that came so close to taking down this quote unquote juggernaut,
and one of them did.
mm-hmm, Texas A&M,
And Texas A&M, who was
then
unranked at the time, I
Cincinnati,
believe.
And they were unranked
they
at the
were
time. Yes, sir.
unranked.
Hmm.
Then I say Alabama chops the tree down today. I say Cincinnati chops the tree down today. I'm going with Cincy, and I say 31-27. Looking at my screen here, we're up against the break. So let me say to Cool McCain, thank you so much for coming on this
Thank you.
final show of the year. You know I'm bringing you on next week, pending schedule. I got to bring you on next week, and I got to make you a weekly guest. We got to get that done. So
We got to make it happen.
we got to make it happen. One of the men in charge of the NBA and Alex Fleming's NFL carousel, Mr. Cool McCain from Sideline Sports, a proud affiliate of Snowman in the Morning. Thank you so much for coming on, my friend. I really appreciate it.
No problem. And one last thought. Michigan versus Cincinnati. Love it.
I will drool for that game.
I need not to say anything further myself on that.
Nothing. And it's in Indianapolis. Ooh,
Yes.
boy, it's at Lucas Oil State. Mr. McCain, get out of here, or we'll take another hour. Thank you, brother.
All right, gentlemen.
Thank you, brother. I love you, and I'll have you back on soon.
Love you guys, man. One love.
One love, bro. Oh, and Cincinnati doesn't travel, so for the national championship game, it'll be all Michigan. Oh
now,
my gosh.
You already know that's a lie.
And I have.
Cincinnati doesn't travel, so they stick them against what's supposed to be a juggernaut in Alabama. Child, please. They don't know them very well, do they?
Mm-mm.
They've been traveling well since 1993. Anybody remember Nick Van Exel?
Oh, man. I mean, it is sad they are literally begging for any of these three teams to simply knock Cincinnati off. Begging,
Okay, then I got a
Michigan,
what if. Then
Alabama, or Georgia.
Then I have
do it.
one hell of a what if question. What if on January 10th, Cincinnati's the last team standing?
Well, I have no issue with that.
I have no issue either. I'll buy all the paraphernalia, which I had planned to do for UCF, but was going through some personal turbulence at the time. But I'll buy all the championship paraphernalia, and I'll hang it up in my office, proudly. Proudly.
Mm-hmm.
No one's giving Cincinnati a chance. Oh, yeah? Well, we are. Pause for a break.
Yes, sir.
I'll get Chris Dietz on the line, and we'll have a long version of the College Football Express because today is semifinal day. For those of you who are wondering, you can pick up the podcast on Odyssey as well as iHeartRadio as the podcast drops 90 minutes after the completion of the show. Back in a flash.
To seeing my grandbabies every Sunday and smothering them with big hugs and kisses.
I want to get back to football games with my boys.
I want to get back to feeling and touching, connecting with the people around me.
I want to get back to family dinners and my grandma's mac and cheese.
I want to get back to real grocery shopping, taking my time, walking down every aisle, smelling the tomatoes and melons, having a free sample or two, or three.
COVID-19 has changed how we live and how we feel. But now, there are vaccines. And they are the first step that let us get back to feeling optimistic about the days ahead of us. It's okay to have questions.
Is it safe?
Should I get it?
Should I wait?
Now, get the facts. Learn more at getvaccineanswers.org so you can make an informed decision when vaccines are available to you. Brought to you by the Ad Council.
This is Mario Andretti. You know me as a race car driver, but I'm also a Meals on Wheels volunteer. I've raced against the sport's biggest personalities, but I've never met more vibrant, amazing people than the seniors served by Meals on Wheels. As a volunteer, you deliver a hot, nutritious meal and a friendly hello to someone just like your mother, grandfather, or next door neighbor. These seniors are inspiring people with incredible stories to share, and they love to see you. The smiles you get back are priceless. Delivering with Meals on Wheels is easy, and you don't have to drive like me for it to be quick. You can volunteer your lunch break once a week or just once a month. With 1 in 6 seniors facing hunger and many more living in isolation, your lunch break can make a real difference. So, America, let's do lunch. Volunteer your lunch break at americaletsdolunch.org.
This message brought to you by Meals on Wheels America and the Ad Council.
If you came across someone struggling with hunger, how would you recognize them? By their clothes, their age, the way they speak? Would you notice an 8-year-old girl who's not excited for summer break,
because she may not be having lunch again until September.
Or a single father of 2 who works 3
part-time jobs and still can't put enough food on the table.
Or maybe a mother who cleans offices at night,
hoping to find meeting leftovers to take home to her hungry family.
Or a war veteran who's having a hard time
landing a job and getting back on his feet.
I am the 1 in 8 Americans who struggle with hunger. People you pass by every day but never knew were hungry. I am hunger in America.
Hunger can be hard to recognize. Learn why at IamHungerInAmerica.org. Brought to you by Feeding America, 200 Food Banks Strong, and the Ad Council.
Why was the basketball court all wet? Because the players kept dribbling on it.
The dad joke. Corny, groan-worthy, but also one of the simplest ways to share a moment with your kids.
What did the buffalo say when he dropped his son off for school? Bye, son.
So take a moment to make your kid laugh, because dad jokes rule. Make your kid laugh today. Go to fatherhood.gov. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
This is Snowman in the morning.
And now, ladies and gentlemen,
Mister, will you please wake up?
First pitch. And Correa lines it deep to right field. Judge is going back at the wall, looking out. See you later! See you later! See you later!
Plate for Correa as he stops on home plate for an exclamation point. We're tied at 1 apiece.
excellent.
This is Snowman in the morning.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out to my buddy Robert Ford, the radio voice of the Houston Astros and a very good friend. He was the voice you heard to open hour 2, and the voice you heard to open hour 1 was the legendary Wayne Larrivee. Had a chance to meet him at Butler University. Yo, Deets, you ready?
Ready to roll.
All right. Chris Deets is now on with us, and Chris warned me, and I smiled at the warning, that he had a lot for us today. So all I'm gonna say is, light it up, my friend. Let's go. Where do you want to start?
All right. Well, obviously, happy CFP Day to both of you as we wait to get started this afternoon.
Yep.
Happy CFP Day to you, sir.
So the first topic I want to talk about. I mean, we could do an entire program, not a segment, but an entire program on the decline of the media and what they try to do. And nothing, and it never was this way before. And it's been a recent thing that, sports media was always photographic, as in you saw what happened, they told you what happened, and that was it.
Yeah.
Now it has become more muralistic, it's like watching Bob Ross when he was painting, and it's like, this is a happy little tree. And, he's telling you what it is. That's what the media is doing now.
Yes.
Instead of showing you the picture and saying, this is what happened, they're painting the picture and saying, this is what you're looking at. Look at this, not what's really going on. And none of that it was more prevalent than this entire 2 weeks of bowl season. And I don't know how many games you guys caught, but I've caught enough of them to where every single game they run the same promo every single game. I'm gonna run through this with you to set this up. So in this promo, they talk about the 4 teams involved in the college football playoff. And it starts out with the standard and show Alabama. And we all know what that means. Yeah. Alabama's always in there, so they're the standard. We get it. Okay, that fits.
Right.
And they go the victors, and they show Michigan. And, we all know where that comes from. Fight song, Hail to the
Victors.
Yep, Hail to the Victors.
So it makes sense. Then it goes on to say the dogs, and they show and they show Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
They show the Georgia Bulldogs.
Mm-hmm.
You get to the end, and it says the Cinderella. As in they don't even want you to pay attention. Midnight's coming. Don't worry about it.
Right.
Magically, they got there. They didn't earn their way in. They didn't play their way in. They chose Cinderella for a purpose.
Yes.
And I mean, I talked about this on the show on my last Fifth Down Sports Show. I opened the show with this. If you respected Cincinnati at all in that promo, you would say the undefeated. You would say the underdog.
Mm-hmm.
You would say something that is relevant to Cincinnati.
Correct.
Not Cinderella, because they're not a Cinderella team.
No, they're
they
not.
earned their way there. They didn't just show up on the scene.
This is beautiful because this is the first time in my life, and Brian's a similar age as me, so I'm almost pushing 50 myself. This is the first time in my life I've ever heard an undefeated team be referred to as a Cinderella.
Yeah. As Cinderella, like they just magically appeared in the Final Four. Because remember, Deets, we talked about this all season, or gentlemen, we talked about this all season. They tried every trick in the book to keep them out. They were waiting for the shoe to drop in Cincinnati. They were waiting on Cincinnati to lose, and they didn't. They tried every trick in the book to keep Cincinnati out of the playoff.
And it's just the disrespect.
Yes.
It's just blatant. It's not even. They don't try to hide it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's that. So like I said, they're painting the picture. They're trying to get everybody to look at this game and say, all right, these three have a chance. Meanwhile, these guys over here, they're lucky to be here.
Mm-hmm.
Don't worry about it if they exit quickly.
Yeah.
I'll be more blunt. These three teams belong. This one doesn't.
Yep.
Exactly.
And they're trying to paint it almost like, I think you just mentioned it, man. They're trying to paint this as the NCAA men's tournament where we root for the 11th or lower seed to advance, and they have no business being in the tier of the Kansases or the North Carolinas or the Dukes, that they have no business even being in the same room, let alone being on the same court as them. And then painting Cincinnati in the same picture of saying, well, this team in the All-American Conference has no business being with the Big Ten champion, the SEC champion, and the SEC runner-up.
Right. No business whatsoever
And
being in this top four. And
I'm glad you brought that point up because it leads me into my second point.
All right.
Of bowl season. And I'm going to start this the way I usually do. I'm going to ask you guys to answer me some questions.
Okay.
So that we can get on it. All season long, as Snowman just pointed out, we have chronicled everything that they have said about Cincinnati. And all season long, all they've said about Cincinnati is they have a weak schedule, right?
Right.
That's been out there. They have the weakest schedule, blah 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 blah, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I want to ask you a couple questions. Did Alabama play Florida?
Yes.
Yes, they did.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Yes,
and
they did.
almost wet the
lost
bed
to
with
him.
them. He almost wet the bed with them. Yes.
Did Alabama play Auburn?
Yes.
Yes, he did, and almost wet the bed with them too.
Okay. So we're there. We're there on that. Did Cincinnati play Houston?
Yes,
Yes, he did.
Yes, they did. Did Cincinnati play UCF?
Yep.
Yes, they did.
Okay, because last week in bowl games, UCF defeated Florida head to head.
They sure did.
Houston
Yep, they did.
defeated Auburn head to head. And oh, by the way, Tulsa won, giving Cincinnati 3 teams on their roster that have bowl wins this season.
Yep.
Absolutely
right.
You look at the other 3 teams that are in the college football playoff. There's not one team on there that has that beat 3 teams that have won bowl games already.
Correct.
That would be correct.
And again, but again, the committee said their schedule wasn't up to par.
Who told that lie?
Well,
You can't make this stuff up. They said it the entire time. Oh, their schedule's not good enough.
They were saying that all season. They were saying that all season.
And they started around the Notre Dame game. They kept saying it.
The American Conference is 3-0 in bowl season.
Games.
Yes.
and if Notre Dame pulls off what I think Notre Dame's going to pull off, you could have Cincinnati with 4 victories over bowl victors.
Over bowl victors. Yep.
It's unbelievable.
What also
blew up in their face, and only people like me, you, and Cole, who have been talking about this all season, we're the only ones that said this is a crock. Don't listen to this.
We're the only ones that actually had the nerve to say what we've been saying all year. That's why this segment has scared a lot of people. But we
this bolsters your point. 2 All-American Conference teams beat 2 SEC teams in bowl games.
Yep.
Exactly.
Thus far.
Exactly. Head to head, you can't make this up. Everybody,
you really can't.
Everybody cherished. Oh, look at what Alabama did to Auburn. Yeah, well, Cincinnati curb stomped Houston, and Houston just curb stomped Auburn.
Yes.
So it's that kind of thing, which leads us to the actual games on, that are going to be played later on today.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do a little shameless plug for you guys right now, because I know Wednesdays on Snowman. I know Cole has his bronze-sexual moments.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Sir.
All the bronze-sexuals that are listening to your show right now are gonna get really upset with me when I say this about the college football playoff games that are coming up. There are 2 guys, one in each game, that if you watch this guy, you'll know who's going to win the game. And the first one is going to upset the bronze-sexuals because, look, I'm a Celtics. I've grown up a Celtics fan.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
There are only 3 guys in my life who scared the living daylights out of me. If I saw them in the starting lineup, they scared the living daylights out of me.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 on that list is a guy who wore number 8 for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Kobe Bean Bryant.
Kobe Bryant. That's why Kobe Bryant is always going to be number 2 to me, to Michael. Kobe was scared me to death. When I had to go up against, when my team was going against Kobe, I knew, hey, this is going to be a dogfight, or we're going to get it to us.
No argument there.
No argument from here either.
So when you watch Alabama versus Cincinnati today, the main guy to look at is Cincinnati corner by the name of Kobe Bryant. And look, this isn't just saying, his name is Kobe Bryant. No, Kobe Bryant is an all-American corner.
Yes, he is.
This is why he will and he will be one-on-one with Jameson Williams. He'll be all over the field with him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling you right now, if Kobe Bryant shuts down Jameson Williams, Alabama loses. If Jameson Williams torches Kobe Bryant, Alabama wins.
Mm-hmm.
So he's the guy to watch. If he has a good game, Cincinnati wins.
Right.
If he doesn't, they lose. That's it. That's the list for that game. The second guy to look at in the second game is the quarterback of Georgia, Stetson Bennett.
Mm-hmm.
Good choice. I agree.
They can talk about everything they want with Michigan, with their defense, with all that. If Georgia has to rely on Stetson Bennett to win the game, Georgia, you're in trouble.
I can see that.
I totally
that.
agree with you on that.
If Stetson Bennett is dropping back and handing the ball off to Zamir White, Georgia fans, you're in good shape.
Yeah, you're good.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I agree.
The running game has got to get going for Georgia.
Yes, I 100% agree with that.
You're in trouble because Stetson Bennett has shown he's good at carrying the load. He's not good at hoisting it up. He can carry it, but he can't put it on the truck.
I agree with that.
So
I absolutely agree with that.
Those are the two guys that you really want to focus on.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll tell you exactly how the games are going. If Jameson Williams is shut out in the first half, Cincinnati's doing. Kobe Bryant's doing his job.
Yep.
And Cincinnati's doing well. If Stetson Bennett has to throw more, I'm going to say more than 20. If he has to throw more than 20 times, Georgia's in trouble.
Because Michigan will pound him into the dirt. They will tee off and come after him.
Yeah, they'll tee off and come after him. And then, just like in Ohio State, I think Michigan will take their cue from in that game and just go pound on the other end too.
Yep.
With the running game of their own. Yeah.
And if Stetson's throwing more than 20 times, I can guarantee you one of those is going to be a turnover.
I can guarantee you two of them will be a turnover. Forget just one.
You can't turn the ball over in games like this.
You really can't. Because if you turn the ball over at all, forget having a magic number. If you turn the ball over at all, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just ask Kyler Murray. Would he throw 2 interceptions in his first five plays?
Yep.
And against Alabama, and the game was over.
Game was done.
Game was
done.
They were cooked. Yep.
What other notes you got for us?
So the other note, some of the other things, I said this on the show, and I don't know how much of bowl season you got. The bowl season has been amazing. I mean, yesterday was off the charts. We got an overtime game.
Mm-hmm.
We had games come. The Arizona State game at night with guys coming back. We've had a lot of great things this bowl game, but I will tell you this: if you missed the Celebration Bowl, go back and watch the Celebration Bowl between Jackson State and South Carolina
State. I caught that one.
And this kid, Shaq Davis, is the real deal, man. He is the real deal. He was Randy Moss and Cats. He was. I mean, even Dion was like, there's nothing we can do.
Yep.
We can't stop. We can't stop him. And they just threw the ball up to this kid. This kid just made himself millions and millions of dollars in that game.
Awesome. Yeah.
And that's what's really cool about bowl season is these guys just show up.
Yep.
And you sit there and you say, oh, why am I watching this game? All of a sudden a guy puts on a show like that.
And this is in the midst of a trend where a lot of star players, if you want to call them that, are sitting out their bowl game to get ready for the draft. And meanwhile, you have that performance in the Celebration Bowl in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
What it does prove, and it's always been this way. When you have guys who want to be there, it always trumps having the better roster, but guys who don't want to be there.
Mm-hmm.
And That's what the Celebration Bowl was. It was guys who wanted to be there. Each side wanted to be there. It wasn't like Oregon, Oklahoma, where only half the
rosters show up.
Only Oklahoma wanted to show up,
Mm-hmm.
and Oregon was like, we'll take this one off. Don't worry about it."
Which they basically did.
But last night, Michigan State showed that too.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they showed that against Pittsburgh in, I want to say, the Peach Bowl.
Yes.
It was an awesome performance. Michigan State came out in the first half, didn't look that good. Came out in the second half and looked like a totally different team.
They did.
And ends up going to overtime. It was one of the most fun bowl games to watch.
And a pick six sealed it.
It did. and I mean, for as much as we get on the other network, they do so good in games. And Robert Griffin was amazing calling that game last night.
Yes.
When the kid picked it off, and Robert Griffin is yelling and screaming at the top of the lungs, that's how you know it's somebody. That's somebody who wants to be there and watch the games.
That's somebody who's passionate for the game also.
It was exciting. It was fun. It was fun to listen to him explain things, and it was a great game last night. And that's what a lot of people are missing with these bowl games.
Yeah.
And with the playoff, because everybody's so focused on what's happening later on today that these other games are slipping through the cracks.
Mm-hmm.
But the games that we've seen have been awesome.
I got a question for you, Dietz. It goes like this. Will expansion of the playoff devalue the bowl games?
I don't think it will devalue them any. I don't think so. Not because because it won't, but because with the 4-team playoff, I don't think you can devalue them anymore. I think they've already been devalued.
Bingo.
Devalued to point. I mean, Bryce Hall, and I respect Bryce Hall. You know, he's the top running back coming into the draft. There's no reason for him to play in that game last night. And he opted out. Kenny Pickett was up for the Heisman, decided not to play in what they call a New Year's Six game.
Right.
I mean,
and I still don't know where they came up with that piece of BS from.
Well, it's money driven. You know, the six biggest bowls that these kids should want to play in is the Cotton Fiesta, Orange, Rose, Sugar, and now Peach bowls. And so
that's my reaction to that.
Yeah, and so this is supposed to be beneficial for the children, the young men, and this is supposed to be even more beneficial to the sponsorship and Disney for wanting to put forth all 6 of these games.
Can we get some of these just back on network television, please?
And you know what? Speaking of that, we have to give as college football fans, we have to give props to Rutgers.
Yeah,
definitely do. We definitely do.
You know, they were not scheduled to play a bowl game, and Texas A&M got caught with COVID and opt-outs, and they couldn't field the team, and so the bowl, you know, Wake Forest called up and said, "Hey, do you guys want to play us in the bowl game?" And Rutgers jumped at the opportunity.
They sure
Good
did.
for them. They get and it's like everybody said, you get the extra practices, you get all of this. It's like Cole said, it's mostly for the sponsors, but it's also for those kids. It's for those kids,
yes,
that are on the fringe. If you're on the fringe, these bowl games are awesome. I mean, you go to Liberty's quarterback Malik Willis was awesome in his bowl game.
Indeed.
And people are looking at him now saying, "Ooh, now we're going to check him out when he goes to the Senior Bowl." He probably just saved himself probably from being a 7th, maybe an undrafted guy that gets brought to camp. He probably just bought himself a 3rd or 4th round pick just by playing in his bowl game. So these games are important, and but understand a guy like Bryce Hall who, hasn't Bryce Hall? If you don't know who Bryce Hall is yet, then a bowl game's not gonna tell you what Bryce Hall is.
Right.
It's just weird that these guys. What really weirded me out was Kenny Pickett. You started every game at quarterback,
and you don't start this one,
and you don't come there, and not like I get it, like okay, you don't want to participate, but he was in the booth, he was there.
Mm-hmm.
If you were there with your team, why wouldn't you want to play in that game?
I'd certainly want to play.
I mean,
all the hard work to win the ACC. You start every game. They put your name in the Heisman Trophy chase, and you don't want to start your ball game? What?
That one didn't make sense to me.
Didn't make sense to me either.
It would be one thing if he was like, okay, well, I'm gonna be away from the team. I'm gonna use this time to get ready for the draft. But he was there.
Mm-hmm.
He was in the booth. It was like he was coaching the team, and I was like, you've been the starting quarterback the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, for a guy like Pat Narduzzi, he's probably saying, you know what, Kenny Pickett, you're gone anyway. So let's see the younger guys. Let's let them get extra reps in practice. And
exactly.
It probably worked. Hopefully it'll work out for them, but it would have been nice to see Kenny Pickett in that game last night.
And his stock if he had a good game, his stock probably would have risen even more.
Mm-hmm.
But to answer your question, no, I don't think they can. I don't think they will get devalued because I don't think they can be devalued anymore. I think they're already. But every one of these games is by the wayside.
True.
And it's only people, it's idiots like me that sit around and watch that get excited to watch the Idaho Potato Bowl.
Yeah.
But you're always, that you're always going to have me. I mean, I'll end up watching the D3 championship game. I don't care if it's on TV. I'm going to watch it.
Same.
What makes this even worse is that you have the coverage, and I'm glad you mentioned you mentioned this, Chris. With more of these games that are now going to count, and I put that in quotes, you're beginning to see the other bowls being devalued coverage-wise.
Yes.
And you said it beautifully, Chris, in the commercials, because they're pushing the college football playoff championships.
Mm-hmm.
And I get it. The biggest money is in those 3 games for them. I understand that. But you can't devalue the fact that you have these young men, 18 to 22, who are playing. And you're right. You're right, Chris. These bowl games, they serve as one of the best platforms for NFL teams to look at a guy who's a junior or a senior coming out of college.
Potential
and
draft
saying,
pick.
We might have to look out for this person. And it'll start the journey then. And you mentioned it. From then to the Senior Bowl, from there to the Combine, and from there to their pro day if they do or don't do a Combine. And that interest begins in these bowl games. But what sucks is that we're going to see more of these other bowl games that are going to be emphasized and less in the other bowl games.
Right.
Like the old school Holiday Bowl, the old school Sun Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Those bowls, they're going to get devalued more. When it was, every one of those bowls were valued almost equally. You knew there was a hierarchy in bowls, but basically it was just Road Sugar Fiesta for the most part.
Mm-hmm.
And Orange. Those were the 4 big bowls. Outside of that, the other bowls, they weren't those 4, but they were bowl games, and it was good to see this in the year, and they were important still.
Mm-hmm.
They were more important than a regular college football game, and they were leading up to the most important games of the year. And you had that, and you had that feel of, okay, well, this is kind of cool to watch.
Yeah.
And of course, then we would see the new stars that would come into the NFL that we had no clue of play in these bowls. Now it is simply put, it's these other bowls, because the only ones that matter are the peach, the fiesta, the sugar, the orange, the rose, and the cotton bowls, and the CFP championship game.
And
That's the only ones that matter.
And somehow the Peach Bowl and the Cotton Bowl have either A, risen in value, Peach Bowl, or B, restocked their value, Cotton Bowl.
Mm-hmm.
Because who the hell would watch the Peach Bowl? Because it wasn't significant for the longest time.
We didn't care about the Peach Bowl.
Here's why they did it. Here's you can explain that in two easy ways. The Peach Bowl, where does it take place?
Atlanta. Mm-hmm.
The Cotton Bowl, they moved the Cotton Bowl from
to Jerry World.
Stadium
to Jerry World. Mm-hmm.
That's why.
Oh yeah.
Because they found arenas that they could pack.
Yeah.
And they can put a lot more people in those arenas. But I mean, you bring up a good point. Cole. And I was thinking about this the other night while I was watching. Remember, we argued about this for years of, why can't they just have 4 teams and have a playoff and do all this? And all the dissenters of that said, you're gonna devalue the rest of the games. You're gonna devalue them. Oh, we don't care.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
But this is the funny thing. Go back and think about, and I want to say it was 1997, 95, 95 maybe.
So right before the BCS began. Right before then.
When Charles Woodson and Michigan were in the Rose Bowl against Washington State.
97.
And you watched that game and you said, all right, they have a shot. Then you went and watched Nebraska play in the Orange Bowl and you were like, okay, now we can compare these two teams. And you had an interest in all of that.
Yep.
That's something that's lost on college football.
Yeah, to your point, they split the national championship that year.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah.
They did.
Yes.
And the one after that was split was 2004. I want to say it was between.
I think it was Auburn and USC.
Yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Auburn.
That's the kind of pageantry that I would hope somebody has the tape that we could do a 30. If you did a 30 for 30 on that on how that played out, that Michigan, Nebraska, how it played out down the stretch, you could make that's a money maker right there.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone would watch that.
I know, I sure did.
We forget because at that time we were like, why can't they just play and we get to see them on the field? Now it's completely different. Now we get to see them and we're like, okay, why can't we have that? There's got to be a middle ground where we can still have nostalgia and still get this, still get a defined champion.
Well,
there's got to be a middle ground. Right now we're at the polar opposite.
Yeah, we are.
We need to reel it back in a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Maybe expansion solves that by making by adding some bowl games to it. Maybe that's the answer. I don't have. If I had the answer, I wouldn't be here right now.
Well,
yeah.
And to your point, you had that wonderful season, 1997. When did the BCS begin? 1998.
98.
Because of that very argument that you just posed.
Mm-hmm.
Why should we have a split national champion? We need to have a definitive national champion.
Mm-mm.
There you go.
And more often than not, we haven't had a definitive national champion.
And I mean, we've already had a split national champion. Just ask UCF.
Yeah, I'm about to say we've had multiple split national champions.
Celebrated a national championship.
Yep, UCF got cheated out of a national championship, and that one was essentially split. And the same thing could happen this year with Cincinnati, which I don't like at all, because we've said it before, gentlemen, on this show. It seems like Cincinnati is being treated like the also-ran. And you pointed it out, Dietz, very, very well with the promos, identifying Cincinnati as Cinderella. Really?
Yeah,
then tell me how Cinderella goes to South Bend and punches Notre Dame in the mouth.
Yeah, that's an insult to the program.
Then tell me how Cinderella sees Houston in their house for a conference championship after Baylor beats Oklahoma State
and starts to put the gun on the third quarter.
And basically turns it into a win and you're in after that result, and they sock Houston in the mouth.
And I mean, I know we're reaching the sports genre, so they might not be as up on fairy tales, but up on fairy tales, and you understand who Cinderella was. Again, Cinderella was not invited to the ball.
No.
Right.
Cinderella got there, magically appeared.
Which is how they're treating Cincinnati.
Exactly how they're treating Cincinnati. Like, oh, they're here, and at midnight, they're going to go away.
Yeah.
At midnight, the carriage that brought them is going to turn back into a pumpkin.
Yep.
And they're going to be, and they're going to lose a shoe and be for the rest of it. And I said this on the show. I hope, and I from what I know about Luke Fickell, I know he's hammering that in the locker room right now.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
They don't want you here. Go out and take this from them.
I mean, because after all, the Sunday after conference championship weekend, Cincinnati put on the glass slipper.
That's how they want to look. That's how they want to look at it. Cincinnati really put on the glass slipper.
To really put a bow on Cincinnati being a Cinderella, that's exactly how the CFP and Disney have framed it. That's exactly how they framed it.
Yeah, the second part of that being the big frame of it.
Yeah,
the second part of that, Cole, being the big frame of it.
Yeah, because Cincinnati should feel privileged.
Yes,
to be a part of this.
They should feel privileged. Privilege my eye. I hope
it doesn't matter if Cincinnati goes out there and they get beat 41-0. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, this won't be the first time, and it won't be the last time that somebody gets steamrolled in a playoff, in a semifinal playoff.
In a semifinal, game. Yeah, we've seen it before many times.
Ohio State. I've seen it happen to.
You mentioned it.
I've seen Oklahoma get curb stomped by LSU. Ooh,
God, that was pretty curb stomped too.
Wow.
So if I'm one of those people. I'm not buying this 14.5 point spread. I'm somebody. If I saw that, I'm jumping on Cincinnati.
Wait. They got Alabama favored by how much?
14.5.
14.5. You know
the
what?
Last time I saw it was 14.5.
Vegas wants you to put money.
Vegas
on Cincy. Wow.
wants you to really bet on Cincy. 14.5. They really want you to bet on Cincy.
And the way I think this game is gonna. I mean, if you bet this game, I'm telling you right now, you're gonna be. You better have Pepto-Bismol near you. I'm telling you right now, Cincinnati's gonna be in this thing the whole way.
Yeah, they are.
And if Alabama does win by 14.5, I guarantee it's going to be a pull away at the end.
Yeah, It's going to be a final 5-minute pull away because Cincinnati is going to be in this game.
It's going to be one of those. So you bet this game. Have the Pepto ready because it's not going to be one of those. All right, it's 31-0 after the first quarter.
Right.
And if it is, it's probably going to be Cincinnati. And then you're going to be sitting there going, wait, what just happened?
Yep. I'm waiting for it. We're up against the break, but that's Chris Deeds as he joins us each and every week and each and every year for the Snowman in the Morning College Football Express. And, of course, we will be back next week to break these games down and set up your national championship. And we're going to show some love to the other divisions and their national championship teams as well. Deeds, always a pleasure to have you on, my man, for the 6th consecutive year. I love having you on.
Always great, guys. Enjoy the games and have a happy new year. And remember, Kobe Bryant will have his stamp on today.
I can't wait for it. I can't wait for it. Thank you, Chris.
Happy New Year to you, man.
All right, have a good one, guys.
I want to see Alabama get the piss kicked out of them. 14.5 points. I'm taking all those points, and I'm calling for the straight up win for Cincinnati.
I seriously am not surprised. I am not surprised at all.
Nor am I. They want Alabama to kick the daylights out of Cincinnati, and it's not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. A break
the
and then
that they want is not going to happen. Yeah.
Right. A break, and then we got some more stuff for you. So stick around as we put a bow on this puppy and get you ready for the new year. Back in a moment.
These are the sounds of a dinner. But not just any dinner. A dinner that almost didn't happen. Because without food, it can't. A dinner now served, thanks to people like you. Due to COVID-19, 17 million more Americans may face hunger. Feeding America is helping our neighbors in need. And if you're able, you can too. Donations to the COVID-19 Relief Fund are being accepted at feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. Your help is needed now more than ever, and every dollar makes a difference. That's feedingamerica.org/coronavirus. On behalf of Feeding America and families nationwide, thank you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and Feeding America, 200 Food Banks strong.
Excuse me, I know you have a 9 o'clock, so I'll keep this short. I'm the business suit in the back of your closet. You wore me nearly every day before your office went, quote, casual. I used to be the CEO of your closet. Now I'm just that one intern no one ever talks to. I always thought you'd circle back with me, get granular, keep me in the pipeline. But nada, nothing. Don't you remember the McKittrick presentation? You spilled coffee on me and I still looked amazing during the breakout talkback Q&A. So, I think it's time for me to move on. I've got a great resume and I absolutely crush it in interviews, okay? Let's make this a clean break. Shift the paradigm. The only thing I ask is that you think outside the box here and do this. Take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create new jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
The COVID-19 vaccines are starting to become available across the country. And as they become available, you may be asking yourself, should I get it? Will it help me get back to doing the things I love? Like going out to my favorite restaurants, meeting with friends in person, or going on vacation and traveling again? And can I do it all without putting my family and those I love at risk? And is it safe? You've got questions. That's normal, which is why it's so important to get informed. The medical community has made it clear. The vaccines authorized for COVID-19 have met the highest safety standards and can help protect us. Visit getvaccineanswers.org for all the latest information on the COVID-19 vaccines. That's getvaccineanswers.org. Getting back to the moments we miss starts with getting informed. It's up to you. A message brought to you by the Ad Council and the CDC.
What I know about courage I learned from my adoptive mom. She said sometimes you just gotta hold on and know we'll get through this. Mom, we are so high up. Hold my hand.
No, you hold my hand.
Here we go.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more.
I learned patience from my adoptive dad. All he had to say was,
"Hey, you got this. Just breathe." Hey, we're pretty good.
Yeah.
Might have to start a band.
I got it.
Learn about adopting a teen from foster care. You can't imagine the reward. Visit adoptuskids.org to find out more. This message is brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is Snowman in the morning.
Okay. We got our cameras situated. Had to make a change there. We got a little time before we wrap up this New Year's Eve special and our final show of the year. And you know what? I have a request of my partner, Cole Johnson. I have a request of you, sir.
A request? Okay. What is it?
I have a very, very important and special request of you. But before I get to said request, let me once again say thank you to all of our radio affiliates, including the good folks at Transform You Sports. I say, and Transform You Radio. I say Happy New Year to all the folks there. Marcus Hart, the man in charge, and all the good folks with Transform You Radio and all the great programs. I advise you to check them out in the new year. They got some great stuff coming. Now, here's my request, and it's pretty simple. Give me one more good bronzexual confession to close out the year.
Oh, man. I'm so glad I'm ready.
All right. My request has been granted. Here we go.
All right.
In a world where partial greatness is celebrated and total greatness is shunned, there stands to be a figure on the lips of those who love him and those who hate him. The inane comparisons to Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant continue and has existed since 2003. There is no end in sight, for the battle between those who unconditionally love and unconditionally hate him wages on. These are their stories. Welcome to the Bronzexual Confessions.
So here we are. The day after your king's 37th birthday. I know. No, he's not my king, he's yours. The day after your king's royal birthday. and we're happy to be sitting and looking at this king, and I am putting this in quotes.
Same.
Having to do what he familiarly does every single time we get to this point in the year. That is, of course, unless the team actually is a juggernaut, and that is he has to be Superman to bolster your opinion of him as being better than the rest, because we know that Magic hasn't done it, and Bird hasn't done it, and Kobe hasn't done it, and Kareem hasn't done it, and definitely Jordan hasn't done it.
Wait a minute. Yes, they have.
Yes, I know. But yes, I'm speaking to bronzexuals. I'm trying to speak to their...
Yeah. I forgot about that. I'm sorry.
Yes.
You're speaking. We're speaking to and about bronzexuals. Okay, go on.
Yes. And yes, factually, yes. They all, to a degree, have done it, and I can name others who have too. But the narrative for you, bronzexual, is they haven't done it because they have never lifted a team that had the piss poor talent that LeBron has surrounded himself with And notice I did say surround himself with, not that he was surrounded with. And looked into heights that they never thought they could reach. I mean, look at how bad that 2017 and 18 Cavaliers team were. I mean, it was basically LeBron and, well, yeah, Kevin Love was really nothing, and Kyrie in 2017, he was whining to be out, and then after Kyrie left in 2017, LeBron was definitely more of a Herculean Superman and lifted that team from nowhere, and people gave them no chance to be in the finals, to be in the finals in both those years. But of course, Brown says, as you know, they only won one finals game in the combined 9 that they played in 2017, 2018. But I digress. We are only a few days removed from the last game that your king played before his 37th birthday, where he showed up and showed out. I mean, he did a wonderful job because after the game where he scored a triple-double in his first ever game as a center, he went on and he had a brilliant performance against the Grizzlies in Memphis. Unfortunately, the Grizzlies did not catch the memo that they were supposed to lose the game due to my man crush in basketball, Ja Morant.
So the Grizzlies didn't catch the memo that they were supposed to lay down?
Yeah, they were supposed to lay down and further submit that LeBron is supposed to be the man now. No. Well, the Grizzlies did what they were supposed to do. They competed, and they beat them.
Our shared man crush and John Morant took care of that. And thank you, John Morant. I drink in salute to you.
Yes, sir. What I loved about that game was that you saw the reason and the rationale, Brown Sexuals, why both my partner and I have said that the Lakers weren't going to be anything. 2 plays. I'll mention 2 plays. One of them involves your centerpiece to bring home the championship in Russell Westbrook, the walking, talking triple-double, right? And he did exactly what he always does. He shows that he has a motor. He went to the hoop. He laid it up. And it bounced in and out of the rim.
Oops.
That's play number 1. And then play number 2, it involved what you all consider to be the basketball player with the greatest IQ in the history of the 75-year sport.
Wait, Magic was involved? Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, just a moment. Right. Jordan was involved? No, I'm sorry. Sorry.
Yeah. Yes. So
wait, this one's for you. Hakeem and Kevin Johnson were involved? No, I'm sorry.
Right. Yeah. None of those players existed in their world of NBA history. But you had your king showing that he already showed he could play in the post and be a center. Then he also showed that he could be wonderful in the perimeter and he can distribute. Well, riddle me this, Batman. So he has the ball late in the game. He's sizing up the situation. He sizes up his defender. He feels as though he can blow by the defender.
Tick, 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 tick.
Meanwhile, the clock is ticking down. And then he finally blows by the defender. But a funny thing happened before the pass. I saw 2 places where he could have gone where the men were, I guess you could say open, or at least they had a better shot. But they were ignored because LeBron had his eye toward the man in the left corner. And so he throws the ball in that direction. And LeBron must be blind because there were 2, not 1, 2 Grizzlies defenders that denied the pass before he threw it. Greatest basketball IQ, LeBron James? I don't think so. But rest assured, Bronsexuals, you'll have another opportunity to see LeBron do his Herculean effort, and I'll be just like one of those Bronsexuals who proclaims that this guy put forth a wonderful effort in yet another loss for the team that LeBron represents. And obviously, LeBron knows that he needs to do something different because he had to wave goodbye. No, I'm sorry. He put forth a GM move and waved goodbye to Rajon Rondo. So now Mr. Rondo is a calf. Well, that's good to know. Now your team will be one less veteran from looking as pathetic as they already do. You got to be proud of that. But this is what really bothers me. And this describes you Bronsexuals to an absolute T. And here's the picture I'm painting. You all as Bronsexuals, you try your best to paint whatever scenario you can on whatever canvas you put, on whatever you paint, to decree and to decry that your man, and yes, I mean your man in every sense of the word, your man is the greatest player ever because of this stat and this stat and this stat. I mean, we have him now being the youngest to come and break and hit milestones, and now he's the oldest as well in other milestones. You all get moist in anticipation of hearing the next stat that he's the youngest to achieve or the oldest to achieve. But I will set it up this way. In lieu of that, I had a conversation with a Bronsexual, and this conversation with this Bronsexual was quite disturbing. This one was, it was based on the understanding of, well, we're having a kumbaya moment because, well, yes, I know LeBron and Michael Jordan, can coexist. And it goes as follows, and get the phlegm to get cleared out of your throat ready, Mr. Snow. Quote, LeBron is the best player ever. Jordan is the greatest of all time. The difference is subtle, but important. LeBron is statistically and to the eye the best player in NBA history. But Jordan did more in less time, and his career was out of a movie script. Closed quote.
What? A movie script?
Yes, a movie script. Yes, sir. A movie script.
So, the bile in my throat.
I said, get ready to clear it out.
The bile in my throat with that.
Mm-hmm.
Finish it,
yes.
Please.
Yes.
Because I got about 100 words in my mind right now. 99 of them are bad.
Here's the point. You see, Bronsexuals, you can't have a best and a greatest and be two different people. That cannot happen. That's like saying that two objects that you can touch and feel can occupy the same space at the same time. That is how much idiocy that particular statement I just quoted to you registers. There is no place on Earth or in the galaxy, any other planet in any other galaxy, that LeBron James is a better basketball player than Michael Jordan. It does not exist.
No, it really doesn't.
LeBron can play another 13 years and amass 6 championships in a row, and he still will not be a better basketball player than Michael Jordan.
Ever.
LeBron could have a career like Tom Brady, where he keeps going and keeps going and keeps going. He's at 45, he's at 50, and he's still playing. And he still will not have a better career than Michael Jordan. There isn't anything LeBron James is better at than Michael Jordan.
Period.
Except, well, there is one. Except flopping.
Yeah, because Michael actually took offensive fouls.
Yes. Meanwhile, LeBron James has referees in his pocket, decides to act like he's taking charges, and draws the charge call while not even being touched.
Yeah.
Ask Java Morant.
Thank you. Thank you. Look at the replay of that. Look at the replay of that play. Morant flew around the bum.
That was such a beautiful play. And it was sad that it got taken off the board.
That's all right.
Sad.
They got even the next possession.
Yeah, it didn't matter because got even the next possession and scoreboard. Here's the thing, bronsexuals. I hope you take this into 2022 because this ain't gonna stop.
No, it isn't.
Because you're gonna see more of this on my own platform and on the daily every Wednesday, and you're gonna get even more in this.
So yeah, bronsexuals, 2 platforms for bronsexual confessions. 2 of them.
At 37 years of age, LeBron James is on the downslope of his career. And the best you can hope for with him at any juncture is which next milestone he's going to approach. Because that's it for championships. That's it for MVPs. And then most certainly is it for any other award that he's going to win. And the only award he may have a chance of winning is Comeback Player of the Year. Because he's winning nothing else at all. But, I know that you all will celebrate LeBron James since he is an athlete who changed lives. In a world where logic and sense flies completely out the window, while purple and yellow glasses are donned, rises a figure who encourages ridiculous, undying loyalty. Good Lord, I'm about to throw up. This has been the last installment in 2021 of The Bronsexual Confessions.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
No, thank you, sir.
I knew you'd be ready. I absolutely knew you'd be ready.
I hope that was to your liking, sir.
What have you said every single time? The comedy writes itself.
Yeah. This isn't something that neither one of us. This is something neither one of us has to conjure up. We just yank it. We just yank it from social media. Just yank it, and the gold is there. I'm like, Lord.
Yeah, he changed lives. That right there. That.
I knew you'd love that one.
He changed lives. I don't know what's worse. He changed lives or the 100 millionth follower. or the opening statement thereof. The only person I would...
The only person you would let... Yeah.
That I would let... You know what? My wife found an online quiz to see how well we knew each other. And I asked her the questions after she asked them to me, and I said, what's one word I say often? Know what her answer was? Bronsexual.
Bronsexual.
And
she ain't wrong.
No, she's not. She's nowhere near wrong.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, before
that is priceless.
I didn't even have to finish the question. I didn't even have to finish the question. I said, what's one word that I say? She spits out bronsexual.
That is beautiful.
That's perfect. That's how well she knows me.
Oh my gosh. Didn't even let the question finish. Didn't
even have to finish the question.
Oh my gosh.
I pretty much knew that would be the answer. She's only been around me 3.5 years of doing this show.
Yeah.
And I said, what's one thing that makes me happy? She said, 2 things, doing your show and watching sports.
Yeah, that woman knows you very well.
She does. And I got no complaints. The only complaint I have is we have to get out of here. All right.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, 2.5 hours from now, enjoy the college football playoff. Have a great year. God bless. Make your next move your best move. Always remember, if your dreams don't scare you, then they're not big enough. Dream big, do bigger. We are, and we hope y'all are too. And #bullpen forever. We're out.
Yes, sir. See you 2021.